Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, we are discussing the versus stream of the sexiest Sith ladies out there, Darth Zannah from the line of Bane versus Darth Talon from the One Sith. Rule of 2 versus 1 Sith. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the supreme sexy Sith Lord, or Sith Lady, shall we say. So with me, I got Annihilus and Ambassador Kosh. We are still waiting on Amelia Skywalker, but she might not be able to make it tonight. She told me that she's getting tired, but she'll try to make it if she can. So, hello to all who are watching in the chat. If you are paying attention in the chat, feel free to take part in the poll that I have so you can cast your vote and get in on the action. And yeah, before we start, I'll give each panelist a chance to plug their channels. So we'll start with Annihilus.
Yeah, hi. I am Annihilus, and I do gaming stuff, and I'm currently going through a modded Mass Effect Trilogy playthrough that I update fairly frequently.
Alrighty. And Ambassador.
I am the Ambassador. My channel is the Ambassador Wing, where I talk pop culture, modern retro. I do reviews, I do discussions, I do live streams. I do the occasional upload when I have the time to do editing. And I just love being a part of these versus streams. They bring me so much joy, and especially when we're talking versus in the Star Wars universe, because, well, as you can tell by my avatar, I am Star Wars, and Star Wars is me. And I look forward to a riveting discussion. So I want to thank Orange Hat for having me on. You're a good egg,
You're
Orange
very
Hat.
welcome.
So anyhow, let's get into it.
So yeah, this actually did come from a recommendation. I cannot remember who recommended it, so sorry about that, folks. PCat, I see you in the chat. Thank you for stopping in. And so I'm going to give a little bit of background, or so people know who these characters are. And we'll start with Darth Talon. She is part of the One Sith under Darth Krayt, the emperor of his time, who was also a Jedi during the Old Republic. His name was Asharad Het, who was actually a Tusken Raider that was Force sensitive, whose father was Sharad Het. That was Darth Krayt. He then later fell to the dark side after his father was murdered. Now, Talon, she is a red Twi'lek, or Twi'lek, however you choose to pronounce. She is red-skinned, so she's a rare version of the Twi'lek. And all of her markings came from ritualistic fighting, or ritualistic practice. Every time she beat an enemy, Krayt would inscribe Sith markings on her. So that is where all of that comes from. She also has extreme skill in both Ataru and Makashi. Makashi is meant for lightsaber to lightsaber. It is not meant for deflecting light or blaster bolts or anything like that. It is strictly blade to blade. And Ataru is Yoda's preferred style, where it is very acrobatic, spins and whatnot. It's also it's a semi-aggressive form as well, where her lightsaber practice is mostly one-handed. She rarely goes two-handed with her battle or with her combat style and technique. Now, her lightsaber is interesting, folks, and I'm going to see if I can actually bring it up, because I have said on numerous occasions that this thing is it's phallic. let's just say it is extremely phallic looking. And I'm not, I mean, it looks like a bone turned into a penis. I'm not kidding, folks. So let me see if I can actually find a good picture of it, because it is insane how this damn thing looks. I can't share that one because let me turn safe search on. I mean, well, actually, let's go to Bing because Bing actually is better at finding things. So while I search for that, how is everybody doing in the chat and whatnot? So just feel free to let me know. And let's there.
Well, who knew I would be on a versus stream where we discuss the fact that a character's lightsaber hilt is somewhat phallic. And a few years ago, we got the meme of Rey playing around with the lightsaber, and it goes somewhat blue.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just say that. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And then, of course, she heard when Rey constructs her own lightsaber. When Rey constructs her own lightsaber, it does look somewhat like a.
Well, to unironically borrow a line, a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Yeah, I know, right? But she's a Sith, so she doesn't give a shit. So here is
my Sith gives more shits.
Yeah, here is what the lightsaber looks like. I mean, folks, it looks like a freaking bone penis. It looks like a dick.
It reminds me of the City Alpha Slug from Wrath of Khan.
That doesn't.
I mean, you can't get much more. I mean, wrong button. I mean, seriously, you cannot get much more phallic than that. And the thing is, it fits because Darth Talon is known to be a very, sexy Sith.
Well,
now,
duh.
Yeah, I mean, so now she is very proficient in Force Lightning, and she has a very powerful Force push. I mean, if she hits you with a Force push and you smack up against the wall, your entire bone structure will probably be crushed. That is it for Darth Talon. I mean, believe me, folks, I did a deep dive, and she's extremely skilled with a lightsaber, and she's an assassin, essentially. She is basically just an assassin. She can conceal herself in the Force very well, but they don't specify how or which way is it. Or she's very good at concealment, either through the Force or through physical means. They don't specify. If it's through the Force, it's a rare art, but a lot of people learned it, especially Luke Skywalker himself, Jason Solo, Ben Skywalker, and others. They learned how to hide themselves. She could do it as well, apparently. Now we come to Darth Zannah, the apprentice to Darth Bane. Her lightsaber skills, her lightsaber blades, she has an extended where her lightsaber hilt, meaning it is wider than the normal double hilt. And her blades are shorter because she relies on a defensive posture. And I'm going to quote something from one of the books. Defense will not slay my enemy, she says. You lack the physical strength required for powerful attacking strikes of DM So or the other aggressive forms. You must rely on quickness, cunning, and most of all, patience to best your enemies. Zannah learns the significance of Form 3 from Bane. She was a left-handed master of the lightsaber combat form Sorasu, becoming proficient at creating defensive barriers using a custom-made double-bladed lightsaber. Her unique weapon allowed her to defend herself indefinitely against enemies with minimal effort, only switching to the offensive when her adversary was weakened or frustrated. Zannah mastered her saber form to such a degree that her Sorosu rhythms became a matter of instinct, thus allowing her to also concentrate on and incorporate force techniques while battling with her enemies. Even against opponents of far greater size, such as Jedi Knight Saro Zaj, Zannah was able to erect and maintain an effective wall of defense. Without the application of her sorcery, however, Zannah would have eventually fallen to Zaj's superior physical strength. Yeah, he was an extremely powerful and physically imposing Jedi. The Master of Fear. Got to see you, Vader for life. Yeah, I hear you. And he had a double-bladed lightsaber himself, and it was massive, his lightsaber, compared to hers, but he still couldn't penetrate her defenses. Form 3's tenets of patience and cunning that Zannah learned from Bane also allowed her to easily defeat Set Heart's mastery of 4th lightsaber combat form, Ataru. So, yeah, this puts Talon at a disadvantage because she is also good or proficient with Ataru. While dueling Hearth in his mansion, Zannah capitalized on his mistakes, which ultimately resulted from Hearth's own arrogance and impatience. This allowed her to attack him with a spell of insanity, which against which he had no defense, and through which he was defeated. Because of her explicit focus on defensive cadences, however, Zannah found difficulty in maintaining situations that saw her as the primary aggressor. During her confrontation with Bane in the Stone Prison, she successfully cornered him multiple times, but despite the Dark Lord's lack of a weapon, she was unable to kill him. Later, during their final duel with Bane, her master overwhelmed her defenses with his powerful attacks, and she was forced to resort to her sorcery to defeat him. Force mastery. Another line from her. Yes, we're getting this from Wikipedia, but unfortunately, yeah. Anyway, don't judge me. I can use my powers to conjure up your worst nightmares and bring them to life before your eyes. I can drive you mad with fear, shred your sanity, and leave you a raving lunatic for the rest of your life. Describing the effects of her sorcery. Even as a youth, Zannah had great instinctive control over the Force. She used her basically untrained power to shield herself from the combined power of a Sith-created Force storm, snapped the neck of 2 Jedi warriors, and even to survive the Thought Bomb, when nearly every other present Force-sensitive individual was annihilated by it. This is how powerful she is, folks. As a student of the dark side, Darth Zannah perfected her natural talent for Sith magic and became an accomplished sorceress. She studied the doctrines of the ancient Sith magician Freedon Nad and mastered his teachings for a variety of effects, covering herself and others in a false light side aura, driving people insane by showing them their greatest fears, or even masking her presence in the Force were all within the scope of her abilities. Zannah's spell of concealment was so strong that its effects lingered on for many years after its use. The decade-old remnants of her concealment charm were so powerful that it violently disrupted the psychometry of Darth Cognis when she attempted to read Caleb's hut. Over the years she spent as Darth Bane's shadow hand, Zannah acquired a vast amount of Sith knowledge from a variety of other sources and kept many of her learned abilities in reserve for the inevitable day when she would use them against Darth Bane. Among her holdout talents were the conjuring of dark side tendrils, negative Force manifestations that appeared in the form of black mist and were capable of disintegrating flesh and bone on contact. Zannah was also able to sense other beings in the Force and displayed the ability to expel powerful telekinetic blasts. So that's Darth Zannah. So we got an assassin, and we have a extremely powerful Sith sorceress. So, yes, this does kind of sound one-sided. Rey Skywalker would wreck both of them.
Tim, you shut
Good to
your
see it, Tim.
Tim, you
He's
shut your
joking.
filth. I know he is, but Tim, you shut your mouth, you freaky Raylo. Can see
To
it,
each
Tim.
their own. I know.
Yeah.
So,
Each their
that
own.
is Darth Zannah. And, folks, her dark side tendrils, David Kotler, good to see you. Rey with 2 lightsabers is universal. Rey with 3 lightsabers is multiversal.
Oh, good grief.
Oh my gosh. Folks, Zannah would annihilate her or Rey as well. Rey could be all the Jedi and fucking be annihilated.
Zannah
Put
would
it
just
this
be like,
way.
"That's cute. I'm gonna destroy your sanity now. Okay, thanks. Bye."
Yeah, she has no
Thanks.
defense against anything like that. So yeah.
Oh.
So we're gonna start this. So without giving a reason why, Annihilus, who wins?
Well, it's like you said. This is gonna be horrendously one-sided. Zannah, for the Sith sorcery alone.
Without giving why. Ambassador.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with my esteemed colleague, Lord Annihilus. It's going to be Darth Zannah, just based on her force skill alone.
Mhm.
I know we're not supposed to give reasons. It's Darth Zannah, period. Done.
Yeah.
There. I'll go into reasons later.
Yeah. So I am also in agreement. So that's going to be the stream, folks. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to, shortest versus stream ever, 16 or 17 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Let's, so giving reasons, basically, folks, this is my headcanon. So no Sith before Palpatine and Vader were ever as powerful as them, but that's just my headcanon. That's your headcanon, dude. That doesn't mean that's just your headcanon, because Darth Zannah would actually annihilate Sidious as well. Sidious,
yeah.
a lot of people like to say that Palpatine was all powerful. This and that, so good. Oh, look, you can conjure a wormhole. That's nothing compared to the ancient Sith that came before him. Good to see Fuch Norris. I'm not going to say what it says, but yeah, fuck Norris. That's what it is. Talon just for the thighs and the thumbnail.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Folks, definitely leave your vote in the poll that is in the chat.
Yeah,
So,
and can we just say, once Zannah was done with Talon, she would just go search out Rey and go, "Oh, you have 2 lightsabers. Isn't that adorable? Snap, you're dead." She would just conjure
he's not
force.
lying.
She would just conjure force tendrils and just disintegrate a Rey.
And then all while enjoying a nice glass of Ruby Bleals.
Folks, it is basically one-sided with this battle, but
Ooh.
there is a chance, because yes, while Darth Talon is not as strong in the Force as Zannah, she could still go on one hell of a defense. And yes, she is a Sith. Her anger will strengthen her, so she could use her strength or her anger. Yes, I see his comment. If Chuck Norris was in Star Wars, he wouldn't even need a lightsaber. His beard is enough. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, there is a chance that she could actually overwhelm the defenses of Darth Zannah, because like the passage said, Bane crumbled her defenses, crushed them. She had to rely on more than just her impenetrable defense in order to win. Yes, she can then try using the sanity spells against Darth Talon, but the thing is, Darth Talon is absolutely nuts already. So what does she fear? We have no idea what she fears.
Oh, there's one thing she could exploit: the fear of failing her Lord Krayt. Think about it.
Sure, there's that.
And she is so indoctrinated into the one Sith rule.
Yes, that is
that was all Zannah would be neat. Oh, you're afraid of failing your master. Now I can toy with your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Your cutesy little red Twi'lek brain. And you dress like you dress like an intergalactic
Intergalactic
skank.
slut. Or
Yes,
skank, yeah.
yes.
This just makes me think Zannah spends her spare time in like this brain lab, just examining other people's still living brains in jars and being like, "Now, how can I torture you today?"
Think Disney Vader could stand a chance against her. They
No.
kind of made him overpowered.
No.
And
No,
he would be crushed
No.
by Zannah.
no. As powerful as they made him,
And
Vader can never cast Force Lightning for one thing.
no,
Well, not only that, he was crippled by his own fear.
Hmm.
Yep, pretty much.
Zannah could
as
use
much
that
as-
fear. Oh, you lost your wife. You lost everything. You can't save anyone. And he would just cast him. She would just cast the insanity spell, and it would destroy him. He would
don't
kill
get me
himself
wrong.
he would kill himself.
I love Vader. Vader is iconic, but no. In a realistic fight between Zannah and Vader, Zannah wins.
Zannah can play mind games with pretty much anyone she wants to and win every
Hell,
time.
she could probably even. Sorry, Annihilus, didn't mean to cut you off.
You didn't. I was finished.
I was gonna say, Zannah could even screw with Palpatine's brain for pity's sake.
No, Palpatine was that was one thing Palpatine could actually stand against. He was actually he was one of the most mentally disciplined Sith Lords out there.
So all Zannah would have to do is use her tendrils.
Yep. He also, or don't get me wrong, Palpatine is powerful, but Darth Zannah is on a whole nother level. The Sith of Bane's line, most of them could annihilate Sidious. Vader's mind will be a theme park for Zannah. Basically, yeah.
Yep. Your mind is a wonderland of torment.
Oh, my body's a temple. Well, now it's a theme park.
Well, if anyone's ever played Psychonauts, one of the levels in Psychonauts is a theme park.
Mm-hmm.
Or in chat, you just inadvertently quoted a burn from Golden Girls.
Well, that Golden Girls, Hellboy, what's the difference?
Both are awesome. Could you imagine if Hellboy had lived with the Golden Girls? That would have been hysterical. I'm going to go out later, kill some demons. I'll bring back a cheesecake.
Yep. Just have some nachos ready for me when I get back. Nachos.
You okay,
there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just got a little bit of a tickle. Fooch Norris says, I'd watch.
Yeah, I know,
Hellboy
right?
with the golden.
Well, Hellboy could get with one of the Golden Girls. She's still alive and she's almost 100 years old.
Betty White. Yep.
Sith Mask wasn't going after his weakness like his mother Padme.
What?
I'm guessing he meant Vader. No, he's talking about that other Darth dude from the comics.
Oh, the what's his face? The
Momin.
Momin, yeah, Momin.
Yeah, Darth Momin. It's like
the one benevolent Sith.
No, that was Darth Gravid. Prick. Anyway, so yeah, I think we've basically covered why she would annihilate. So let's see how the what's the scenario that this would go under? Like time travel through the room of space and time or whatever it's called.
Oh, the world between worlds.
That thing.
And Zannah would have a problem with Talon because Talon represents everything that her master stood against. And that she also stood against because she was also a staunch follower of the rule of two.
Yep.
Well, not to mention, she would just look at her and say, "Geez, I have class and style. You look like a skank. I'm going to just destroy you on principle."
The thing is, Zannah is also a very sexualized figure because she wasn't afraid to use her sexualization to further her master's goal.
Granted, but still, she didn't dress like a skank.
She didn't have to.
No, she didn't have to. You could get a lot more with a grin and a lifted eyebrow than you can wearing a leather bikini and packing around a phallic-looking lightsaber.
Talon must get pretty cold on Hoth or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm pretty sure she's gone into, or she's used other garb as well. I mean, that's the garb she's known for.
I know.
But this
Right.
woman, don't get me wrong, guys. Talon has some very, well, good, or a lot of talent. She is an assassin. She could do a lot of stuff, but she just was, or put up against a very, well, pretty
Overpowered.
much, yeah, overpowered Sith lady.
I mean, this is almost as uneven as when we discussed
Valen versus Rey.
Rey. That stream
I
is
remember
still
that.
epic. I still periodically go back and rewatch it because I absolutely love
Darth-
that stream.
Darth Kaitis versus Emo Bitch.
I haven't watched that one all the way through. I need to though.
Yep. I mean, folks, I did those ones simply to just freaking show my disdain for Disney. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. If you like the Disney trilogy, if you like Disney's attempt at Star Wars, I am literally unable to say that Disney's version of Star Wars is actual Star Wars. I just can't say that. But if you like it, if you enjoy that, that is fine. Different opinions are welcome here. I am not going to rag on it too much, but I will say that if you enjoy Disney Star Wars, I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm not going to say you are lesser than I am for enjoying Disney Star Wars. Do I question your sanity in some ways? Maybe. But I just, honestly, folks, I do find entertainment in some of what Disney has done. But I just cannot consider it Star Wars. There is too many lore violations that were established by George Lucas's movies to call that stuff Star Wars.
Even Jedi Fallen Order, which I have enjoyed, I wouldn't fully call Star Wars.
Fallen Order is actually closer to is a little bit closer to the EU than it is to Disney canon.
I'd
Granted,
agree with it.
but I have my own problems with it, but that's not really the point of this stream.
Yeah. I mean, well, folks, we got like 20 more minutes to go before we get to the top 10s. But yeah, let's try to stay focused on like battles and whatnot. So Darth Zannah and Darth Talon, I honestly think that it would come down to the room of between worlds or whatever.
The world between
because
worlds.
that's the world between worlds, because that's the only way that they could actually meet each other is because they are literally thousands of years apart.
Yeah.
Or they're 1,000 years apart.
Well, there was also that time a ship full of Sith time traveled into Luke Skywalker's time.
Yeah. Well, the Master of Fear, the idea of Kylo was known as Jason Solo.
Yep.
The execution was a lot better in the EU. Wait, Vader could overcome his insanity because he went through all that stuff when he bleeded his crystal. He was able to overcome that, and that did attack him personally. Yeah, that's Disney canon. Like I said, I don't acknowledge that. I mean, yes, that's how they handled it. I like the Vader from EU because it truly spoke to the psychological scars that he had. He could never set foot on Tatooine after he became Darth Vader in the suit. He could never go back to Naboo. He could never go back to Tatooine. He could never go back to the Jedi Temple after a couple times of visiting it, because they would cause him so much emotional distress that it would screw with his life support system on his suit. the way, or basically, if you want to know what I'm talking about, folks, read the EU novel that is a direct sequel to Episode 3 called Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader.
I have that book. I
Yep.
love that book.
It also tells you exactly what it's like for Anakin inside that suit.
I think Lucino interviewed. Oh my God, what was his name? Robert Prowse.
David Prowse.
David
David
Prowse.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he got a little bit of insight for what it was like inside the suit, but there was also other people inside that suit, especially when it came to the sword or the saber fights. But yeah, Darth Talon, getting back to the stream or the subject or topic, sorry. Darth Talon she's a well-versed fighter. She could switch between Makashi and Ataru. If she's not working if she's not working good on Ataru, then she could switch to Makashi. And yes, Makashi is known to go through a lightsaber defense of Sorasu at times, depending on how skilled or how versed the person is in it. Now, she could indeed overwhelm her with Ataru or with Ataru, but if Zannah tries or is able to conjure those death or those dark side tendrils, sorry, but Twi'lek be fucked. Rule 34, I know. Anyway, but yeah, like I said, this is a largely overrated or overpowered opponent that Darth Talon was put up to. I don't even think Darth Warlock or whatever his name is could stand up against her.
Well, if I might interject, here's the biggest thing. Let's say Zannah is the one that is able to go through one of the portals into the world between worlds, and she peers into one of the portals, and she is looking into the legacy time period of the Star Wars universe, and she sees Darth Talon, and she's like, "You brought shame to my master's legacy." So,
no doubt that she would actually be very pissed off.
Oh yeah. And you all serve one master, and there's only one Sith. Like, no, this is not what me nor my master fought for centuries. For you all to, well, I'll just say it, bastardize. So she's gonna go in there, and she's gonna just absolutely start to rimwreck Talon, because I mean, obviously, as a lady, a Sith lady. A Sith lady, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Zannah, I think, is just going to just absolutely go ballistic. And when she goes ballistic, you're talking, she's going to unleash a large chunk of her Sith
power,
Sith sorcery, Force lightning, her dark side tendril. She's just going to absolutely go into an absolute blood murder rage, and she's just going to absolutely overwhelm Talon, and she's going to just eventually, Talon's going to get fatigued, and she's going to end up dead. I would say that maybe this fight would last maybe 10-15 minutes tops, and I'm being somewhat generous. I don't see Talon mounting much of an offense. She's going to be on defense most of the time. And let's be honest here, I was doing research into Talon myself. If she can be overwhelmed by Cade Skywalker and some Imperial Knights and be wounded by Cade Skywalker, I mean, granted, he is of the Skywalker line, but he's not as powerful as some of his ancestors, but he's still decently powerful.
He is actually quite powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually mastered Force Heal to a degree where he was using it almost all the time.
Yeah, but that being said, she's not going to last very long against a Sith lady who can not only use Sith sorcery, but use some of the most advanced skills within the dark side, not to mention one of the most rare, that being those dark side tendrils. Because as far as I know, she's the only Sith I've heard of, both either male or female, that could manifest that ability.
Yeah, Bane could never do it. He even acknowledged when he was telling her and teaching her, you have talent that you could, to the point where you won't be able to copy me, but you will definitely be able to surpass me. He told her flat out, there will be a time when you learn so much that you will take over and you will be more powerful than I am.
But you know what? That's the sign of a good master. And let's be candid. Zannah learned, and she learned well, not just from Bane, but she did research. As you mentioned, she studied the writings of Fried and Nad.
Mm-hmm.
She probably even dug into some of Revan's stuff. Heaven only knows who else.
Probably. I mean, this woman literally exploded her cousin's hand just to prove to her master at the time she was just a kid. She just pointed to his hand or gestured. His freaking hand exploded. And guts and everything. Or blood and bone and everything. And then, after she was fully indoctrinated into the Sith, she drove her freaking cousin mad just to make them think that he was actually Darth Bane when the Jedi came looking for him.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Her raw potential just as a child was just the tip of the iceberg for just how immensely powerful she could be. I mean, let's be honest here. Talon's cool. Don't get me wrong. She was a very skilled assassin. But a skilled assassin against a Sith sorcerer or sorceress in this instance,
it's no contest.
There's just no real counter for that.
Because she can use her acrobatics to stay away from the tendrils, but she'll have no freaking way of getting through them.
No, because you touch them, you disintegrate.
Yep.
That's how powerful that ability is. I mean, whoever I can't remember the name of the author who wrote the Bane trilogy of books. I mean, I have it.
Karpyshyn.
Drew Karpyshyn also wrote the story for KOTOR and Mass Effect.
Yeah. Okay. He clearly wanted to create a character that was both intriguing but also immensely intimidating. And the person who created Talon created an equally interesting character. But here's the thing. You put their abilities side by side. You've got the equivalent of a Force nuclear device versus a Force Scud missile.
Actually, more like a Force silencer versus a Force nuclear device.
Yeah. There's not going to be any contest. Now, in terms of sex appeal, yeah, sure, Talon's attractive. She's got red skin. She's got a decent rack. She's got nice legs and an ass. But aside from that, because he couldn't come close, he would be happy and become weaker in the dark side. Yeah, David, I've actually heard about that. I've actually read lore on that.
He also tried using the light side too.
Mm-hmm.
During Shadows of the Empire, when he shed his armor and went into his meditation chamber, he would actually call on the dark side or light side, and for a small time, he was able to breathe unaided, but he couldn't keep it up. That was the problem. He tried everything to try to rid himself of that suit. It never worked.
Yeah. I mean, that suit was quite
Well-
literally a prison.
The prison, but also a life support system. To be honest, I
Yeah.
never liked force healing even before Disney used it. Thing is, Obi-Wan used it in episode 4. When he put his hand over Luke Skywalker's brow like this,
Mhm.
he was using force heal.
Yeah.
Talon might have an advantage because Zannah would need time to concentrate her force powers. You came in late, Soul Assassin, but I can basically reiterate her defenses are so strong with her lightsaber technique that they became instinctive. She wouldn't have to even focus on that while she focus on defense while Talon's going after her, because that allows her to use her sorcery without focusing on defending against Talon.
Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. But the thing is, when it comes to the dark side tendrils, I do believe she would actually have to take time to physically gesture to conjure them. I do believe that was actually one of the stipulations of it. So yes, if she can get away from Talon, if Talon is not relentless, Zannah would lose. Or if Talon is relentless, Zannah could possibly lose. If Talon isn't relentless and she draws back, she's dead. Then why didn't he use it before? That couldn't really help him save a lot of people. Those are called plot holes, dude.
Yep, unfortunately.
Hey, hey guys, Darth Talon is the hottest of them all. She may be the hottest, but honestly, I would actually prefer Zannah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind going insane afterward. Because the thing is, I'm already insane.
No, you're not. Let's stop it.
Oh, believe me, people would think that I'm insane if they heard a lot of what I have to say. But we're not going to get into that. No. So, who do you think would actually be besides Valkorion, who would actually be a good match for Zannah? Besides the son and daughter and father and Valkorion and Abeloth. Actually, I wonder how she would actually do against Abeloth.
I need to get to the Fate of the Jedi series.
I would have to say, are we talking any time period?
Any time period. Revan might be able to handle her pretty well. I mean, he was a beast in the Force, dude.
Exarchon.
True.
Yeah, I was gonna go more of along. Soul Assassin brought up a good one. Plagueis, maybe.
Plagueis, perhaps. Plagueis was powerful, but he was trying to make himself immortal, which he actually was doing. A lot of people don't realize this. Plagueis's attempt at immortality was working. His body was de-aging. His midi-chlorian count was rising. He was actually succeeding when Palpatine killed him. That's why he actually let Palpatine kill him. He wanted to see the limits of his power. So yeah, that's why I don't like force healing. It creates too many potholes, because I'm pretty sure Anakin wouldn't have been afraid of losing Padme if he just knew about it, and I think Yoda would know about it as well. Yes, true. But then again, Anakin's most powerful potential in the Force was seeing the future.
And to be fair for a minute, without force healing, at least in the video games, that would have been a lot more frustrating. So I think force healing was brought into existence for those, partially for that reason.
No, to be perfectly blunt, Annihilus, Force healing was brought in solely as an ability for gaming, not for movies or other media.
Yeah, that's the impression I got from it.
Again, Obi-Wan used it in episode 4.
And yes,
but it's never stated implicitly that he does it. As far as I know, it never says so in the novelization of.
I always thought he was just checking his pulse
By touching his forehead.
It's Star Wars. Who knows? Maybe they have different medical techniques than we do. Oh Lord.
FNT raid. They ended, huh? Thank you. How's it going, Keely?
Another Sith that I think would be a match for Zannah, Naga Sadow.
Many of the ancient Sith could put up a good fight with her because they're the ones who came up with most of those techniques that she learned.
Yeah, I would say that the further in or further down the road you get,
further back you go.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the closer you get to the movie time period,
the less of a chance they'll beat her.
Yeah, exactly. Because there is not a big drop off, but there is somewhat of a drop off with the force abilities and skills of the Sith as you go along. And you don't really see them. You don't really see an elevation until you get to maybe Darth Krayt. You could make the argument that potentially Darth Krayt could put up a good fight against Zannah.
Possibly. With his Orbalisk armor,
yeah.
See, Tulak Horde, I'm not too sure about because Tulak Horde was the best lightsaber duelist. I don't remember how powerful he was in the Force, but
he was the lightsaber duelist. He mastered everything.
He was more of a swordsman than he was a Force abilities type of practitioner. Every Sith and every Jedi had their niche because
although there is one person who could possibly beat her, Ajunta Paul.
Oh yeah.
Who?
That dude cast so much darkness that he infused it into his own blades.
Who?
Ajunta Paul. He was the first. He was the very first Dark Lord of the Sith.
Gotcha.
He was the very first Dark Lord of the Sith.
Yeah, you broke up just a little bit there and everything. I didn't catch what you said. So
sorry about that.
Yeah, potentially. So
the ancient Sith that were buried at Korriban, they could easily take her on.
Well, and here's the other thing too. You gotta realize, Zannah went to Korriban, and even Talon was taught at Korriban herself. But the thing was, Zannah really dug into the texts and the holocrons that were still there, and even the ones that Bane had collected on his own. She was a very good student. She absorbed knowledge like a sponge.
Master of Fear. It wasn't arrogant, or it was arrogance, but he was overcoming death. He was actually extending his life. He was learning. He was employing that secret. He just couldn't employ it enough. If Plagueis had another 10 years, I'm pretty sure he would have actually mastered it. Even he thought that essence transfer, which was Bane's trick to immortality or attempt at immortality, he thought that essence transfer was overall useless. You might as well, or you should focus on your own body and healing it so that you could stay alive forever. Zannah was very dedicated to her studies. Exactly. She knew, or she learned from stuff that even Bane did not give her. Bane didn't give her everything she knew. He didn't teach her, and he also didn't teach her everything he knew. But he told her, you're going to have to find other methods of learning as well, or outside of my own. And Bane was also a very tough teacher. When he taught her, when she was a child, he brought her to that planet where there was a lake that had the dark side concealed.
And he froze.
Oh no.
Just when he was getting good. Dang it.
Yeah. I know exactly what he's referring to, though. The Neeks.
Okay, am I back?
Yes.
You're back.
Sorry about that. But
No
yeah,
worries.
Bane had her go to the or to these beasts to bring back one of them. And she tried catching them, that wouldn't work. So she just eventually befriended one of them, and she let it back. What did Bane do? He reached out with the Force, snapped its neck immediately, and tossed it in a pot, teaching her that attachment is not wise. Yes, that is much of a Jedi teaching, but but don't ever rely on something or become too attached to something, especially if you cannot protect it.
Yeah.
That is why the Jedi do not approve of such attachments. My headcanon, the Sith died with Palpatine. Any Sith that came after him was not canon to me. That's one way to think about it.
Reason.
For laughs, of course. Honestly, I actually liked that dark version of Rey because the way that she just fucking wiped the floor with her light side was impressive.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention, I absolutely love those fan arts of Rey with the wide hips and the big boobs.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
The guy that actually, Bounding into Comics actually reported on that because a bunch of SJWs lost their minds on it. Fucking hilarious. But anyway, so yeah, we are getting to the final stretch. So out of 10, who wins Annihilus? Out of 10, who wins between Talon and Zannah?
Zannah.
How many times out of 10?
Times any.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
How many times out of 10? You cut out for a second.
9 times out of 10 to Zannah.
Okay, 9 out of 10. Ambassador.
I'm going to be somewhat generous. I'll say 8 out of 10 times.
I'll second that one, 8 out of 10, because there are a couple of scenarios where Talon could possibly squeeze out a win. Well, technically, the Bane line followed the original Sith Lords, so technically the Sith did die. No, actually, the Sith Lords were Legion in the originals because they wanted to control everything, and that was what led them to their destruction. That is why Revan came up with the rule of 2. A lot of people mistake that Bane came up with the rule of 2. It was actually Bane who revived it, and Revan, because Revan used it as well.
Yeah.
Sith are masters of the dark side, but even they died with Sidious and Vader. That doesn't stop the dark side taking a new form. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that is going to lead to the conclusion of the stream. Unfortunately, Amelia Skywalker couldn't make it. She got too tired, but that is all right. So anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Soul Assassin, Master of Fear, Mega Jetty, good to see us. And David Kotler. Who else? Fuch Norris. Tim's Talk, good to see you. PCAT, thank you for stopping in. Everybody, thank you for stopping in. Stay tuned not in 2 weeks, because in 2 weeks it is Thanksgiving. Next week, Thursday night will be a Zero Dark 30 discussion stream where I and a panel will be discussing the film Zero Dark 30. And stay tuned for Wednesday evening, where I do my mystery review. The hints, do not give it away if you know it. The hints are Basket Case and what was the other one? Well, Basket Case should basically give it away. But let's just say that. But yeah. So, oh yeah. David Hughes or Jonathan Hughes and Basket Case. Those are the hints. So, yes, if you can guess out of those two hints, then awesome. But do not give it away in the chat. Try to get Mad Mardigan or Lady Gravemask. They like Zero Dark 30. I will reach out to them. Thank you. I tried reaching out to Mad Mardigan. He didn't get back to me the last time I tried, but I will try again. And thank you for the suggestion, Soul Assassin. So yes, look forward to those ones, folks, and stay tuned for the next Versus stream, which will be after Memes of Destruction. You're coming in late, but because I'm about wrapping up. But thank you for stopping in. The next Versus stream will be Solid Snake versus Punisher. So make sure you guys bring in so make sure you guys tune in for that. Anyway, folks, I'm gonna hit the sack soon because I actually have to get up at 4 a.m. to change or put some logs on the fire. So thank you to Ambassador and Darth Annihilus. Both of you guys get some rest because you both sound like you got the sniffles.
Not really, but thanks.
Yeah.
And hashtag consistent. Yes. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you all have a good night. And always remember to stay humble.